This class, we're back for part C, and this is the practice format. This is to help you to practice your entries. And again, we're talking about inventory, income, and expense records. So if you need to, you can always just pause the video for a short time to look at or to analyze the problem a bit more before the answer comes up. And we'll go ahead and go through this, present the problem, and then give you the answer. So if you want to hit pause so you have a bit more time between that, go ahead and get that understanding of which entry goes into what records and how it works. Okay, let's look at the first one. So you're going to read and determine the proper record for each one. Okay, so as you look at this, basically you come in with a $175 water bill for July. Okay, which one would that go into? Beginning inventory, income, expense, or closing inventory? And of course that would go in expense because it's money going away from you or out. Okay, let's look at the next one. Consumers order $1,200 worth of flowers in July. Okay, or I didn't say consumer, I should say customer. Okay, so a customer ordered $1,200. Which record would that go into? And that would be income because it's money coming into business. If you look at a cell phone bill, $220 in July, okay, that's money going out, so that would go into an expense. So you sold $2,000 worth of plants as of at $2 per unit in June. What would that go into? Well, that go into income because you're selling them, so you're getting money from it. So let's say you bought a plant wagon last year for $4,500. Today, date is January 3rd. So let's look at this one. You bought plant wagon last year. Okay, that's an asset, right? And that asset's over $1,000, right? And today date is January 3rd. So how would that go about it? Well, you know it'd be on the beginning inventory because you bought it last year. And remember, it was an expense last year, so it probably showed up in your ending inventory. And now we're in a current year, so it's going to show up on your January 1st as an inventory item. Okay, so that's how you'd read that into it. Okay, so that would be an inventory item. It's an asset that's of value. Okay, let's look at this one. You bought that wagon last year for $4,500. Today's date is October 23rd. So let's see, you bought the plant wagon last year for $4,500. Today's date is October 23rd. Where would that appear? It's still be in beginning inventory because you still own it, right? And even though it's in October, if you look on your inventory sheet, you still will see on your beginning inventory. So you bought that plant wagon last year for $4,500. Today's date is December 31st. What record would that be on? Well, it'd be on this year, be on beginning, but it'd also be on your closing. So you would see it in two places now, because it's at the end of the year. You had it at the beginning, right? And you had it at the end. So it would appear on your beginning, and it would show up on your closing because you still own it. You still have it. So let's say you bought that plant wagon last year for $4,500, right? You sold the wagon for $44 on July of the current year. So what records would you see that in? Well, you know you had it as January 1st, right? But in July, you sold it. Well, that becomes income because that's money coming into the business, and you're taking off the inventory list, so it won't appear on your inventory list any longer. That money you got for that asset is no longer an asset, but it's cash, and it's moved into income. So let's look at, you bought garden tractor for $8,500 March 1st of the current year. So we're in the current year here. Today's date is March 1st. Where would that appear? Well, it'd be on expense because you bought it on March 1st. And that's really the only place it will appear right now at this point in time, right? So you bought that tractor for $8,500 on March 1st. Of the current year. Today's date is December 31st. Okay, what records would that appear on? Well, we knew it was on expense that year, right? And you still own it at the end of the year, so that tells me that it's a closing inventory as well. It's an asset, it's a value, you still own it, right? So you bought $4,000 of office supplies. You used $2,800 of it. Okay, it's consumable. So those are consumable supplies, right? But you still have $2,800, or you use $2,800. But so you still have a balance, right? You still have a remainder of this consumer supplies. Today's date's the 31st. would you see, what records would you have? Well, you know you bought them, so that would be an expense. Whatever's left over from that consumable supplies you used would go on to close inventory because they still have value. Okay, and that's a simple, basically taking you through the beginning inventory, which remember is always starts January 1st. Income of the current year, you keep track of incomes in the year and expenses of the current year, and then closing always ends on December 31st. Also remember fiscal year January 1st to December 31st. Okay, keep those concepts in mind, you'll be fine. Okay, and that's the end of the combining records of using the inventory and income and expense records. Okay, thanks, have a good day, we'll talk to you later, bye now.